If you have a newborn or a baby that is struggling with constipation of more than one day, then watch this video to find out what you can do, as well as how this may be a sign of a bigger problem underneath the surface. Hey, I'm Dr. Sam McDonald, brain health expert, helping you rewire your brain so you can live a better life. If you love this content, make sure to like and subscribe so you get the notifications for each week's new video. So obviously, if you have a baby that's struggling with constipation, you want to address this quickly because you obviously want to make sure that your baby is comfortable. They obviously need to be pooping, mainly because as a baby, they only have three basic neurological programs. That's eat, sleep, and poop. And if they're not pooping, well, they're not getting rid of all that waste inside of them, but they're also missing 1/3 of these basic neurological programs that's going to be needed in order to grow and develop a healthy brain. Now, a really interesting correlation that we have found in our office is that the majority of kiddos that we see that have constipation problems, they come from parents, and specifically moms, that have had a couple of specific events. Either mom has had a stressful pregnancy, or mom had some kind of birth intervention at pregnancy, or both. Now, when it comes to birth intervention, what I'm talking about are things like epidurals, Pitocin, possibly forceps or vacuum extraction, or a C-section. So baby could have been developing in a stressful pregnancy time. They could have had some kind of intervention that has caused a problem, which we'll get to in just a second, or it could be both, stressful pregnancy coupled with birth intervention, which is actually the most common thing that we see because they go hand in hand. Because when a mom has a stressed out neurological system, she's obviously not in the right neurological state to be pushing out a baby, which is then going to be required to have some kind of intervention to make sure baby is born healthy and safe. The problem is that when most babies are born either with these kind of interventions, they're not checked for problems up in that brainstem area. Understand that it takes about 12 pounds of force to damage this upper cervical area in a baby. Most interventions, whether it's forceps, vacuum extraction, or C-section, are upwards of 90 pounds of pressure that are put on that upper cervical area. Why this is important is because this upper cervical area right here is the brainstem. The brainstem is basic life functions like digestion, heart beating, lungs breathing, and you guessed it, pooping. So if baby had some kind of birth intervention or stress during that pregnancy, they're gonna have problems in that brainstem area, basic neurological functions, which is going to lead to these constipation issues. Now, really how that happens and how the upper cervical area is connected down to the digestive area is through the vagus nerve. You've probably heard of the brain-gut connection. Well, this is that literal connection. The vagus nerve is what connects the brain down to the gut. And your neurological system functions basically like a teeter-totter. When you're in a stressed out mode, the relaxation, digestion, poop mode is going to start to shut off. Think of being chased by a tiger, right? The more you're in that hyper-stressed mode, the less you're going to be in that digestive relaxation mode. Now understand, babies are born primarily with more of a stressed out system because they don't have that vagus nerve fully developed, which means when there is damage or trauma to that upper cervical area, it's very sensitive, it's very delicate, and any kind of damage to that area is going to affect motility and gut problems and possibly nutrient absorption, sleeping, all those sorts of things because of that literal brain-gut connection. Now, one of the more common questions that we get is, can I use some kind of natural remedy like prune juice or prune purees or something highly fibrous, or maybe like a Miralax or something like that, and just my kiddo will just grow out of it? Well, the obvious answer is yes, but as we kind of touched on, this is not addressing the underlying issue. And the main problem with a baby that's constipated is you have to ask the question, why? Why is my baby not pooping? Why are they not expressing 1/3 of their basic neurological function? Well, when that upper cervical area is damaged, again, that's going to lead to this lack of motility in the digestive system, meaning moving things along. The digestive system is made of muscles. Muscles are communicated via nerves to the brain, and when that motility is low, that means muscle tone is low. Now, a baby grows its brain through movement. So muscles don't work in isolation either, meaning the muscles of your arms, your legs, your torso, and your core are all intricately connected into the muscles of the digestive system. So just because there's a problem in the digestive system does not mean that there's also not other problems in other places. Baby's gonna have problems with movement, and they're gonna have problems with muscle tone on either side of the body. And low muscle tone or asymmetrical muscle tone on one side is going to lead to problems with brain development on the opposite side. So if you have low muscle tone in the digestive system, you're going to have low muscle tone on somewhere in the body, most likely around the spine, which is going to lead to a lack of information being sent up to the brain, which is going to lead to a lack of proper brain development, which means now you're just pushing this problem down the road, and it's going to be a much bigger problem down the road. This is going to turn into things like immune system challenges, which can manifest as things like ear infections or getting sick all the time. This could manifest into emotional regulation issues, problems with transitions, problems with focus and attention, or problems with emotional outbursts and meltdowns, and even problems with things like sensory processing, where your baby's not feeling their body very well. So understand that this problem is small now when it comes to constipation, but addressing it with some of these other natural alternatives and not addressing the underlying neurological dysfunction is really not a good idea. So the question then becomes, well, really, what is the answer? Well, the obvious answer is addressing this neurological dysfunction that's happening in the brain and the nervous system. Now, how we do that in our office is we use brain-focused chiropractic care, addressing these specific problems in the nervous system, getting your baby getting your baby out of that fight or flight stress stuck on state and back into a healing relaxation state where then they can start to pass the fecal matter inside of them and relieve the constipation, at the same time repairing that brain-gut connection through that vagus nerve so that your baby can now be in a healthy, digestive, relaxed, and chilled out state, thus maintaining proper muscle tone so the brain can grow and develop as best as they possibly can so they can live their best life. So if you love this information, if you want to find out more, please leave us a comment. Please share this with a friend if you know that they have a baby who is struggling with something like constipation. And as always, on this note, you should be healthy by choice, not by chance. And for that reason, I will see you on the next video.